All films end in one of two ways, either with a happy ending or a tragic one. Although, a film still retains the right to not create an appropriate sense of an ending for the audience, leaving the story open ended. Interesting enough, we see a division in film history when studying the trends of early American cinema and early Soviet cinema. In American cinema, films tend to have a homogeneous cliche ending in which the invincible hero gains everything they've ever desired. Traits of the happy ending include the reunion of a heterogeneous couple, the downfall of the villain, and the balance of the film world being returned to its original comfortable state. Traits of the tragic ending include death, the division of a couple, and the triumph of the antagonists. Take the Soviet film By the Mother's Hand, for example, in which two endings were shot, a tragic ending for Soviet filmgoers and a happy ending for export to American movie theaters. I believe this division comes about as a result of the fact that Soviet and American filmmakers understand film differently. The Soviet film school relies on psychology, while the American film school relies on movement. Early filmmaking in the USSR was seen as an auteur undertaking, which means individual directors had individual approaches to making a film. It was seen as an expression of oneself, as an artistic endeavor. While early American cinema was seen as a mass produced form of escapist entertainment. Not to say that either way is the wrong way to make a movie,
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
just that the standards in either country were very different on how to make a film. So, the USSR adopted the tragic ending, which can be seen as more room for artistic privilege. While the USA adopted the happy ending, which is seen as a key component in the algorithm of making films. The main problem with the use of a happy ending in film is that it is expected in American culture. Who wants to see a film where you can already guess the ending? The common trend in most American films is that boy gets girl. Through almost all odds, the boy somehow wins the girl back in the last 10 minutes of a film, even though he might have been one of the main reasons that she was pushed away in the first place. This ending, if done wrong, can be seen as a deus ex machina, and it can sometimes fall flat, or come off as unrealistic. Take, for example, the film The Circus. You first have boy, and then girl, and finally boy meets girl. But to create conflict, we have a villain who is desperately trying to end their relationship with any means possible. He ends up succeeding in ending their relationship momentarily, but by the end of the film, but by the end of the film, the villain is defeated by socialist means, meaning that a large group of people are able to work together to help defeat a single person. The couple is reunited, and finally, by the end of the film, the state of the world of the film is returned to normalcy and balance is restored to the world. The film ends up falling flat, and I had The film ends up falling flat, and I had no emotional connection to it whatsoever. This is because the last sequence of the entire town parading through the streets singing in unison seems highly unrealistic. There isn't enough conflict in the film to make the audience care about what happens to our main characters, and we, as an American audience, have seen this outcome a million times in other movies. Let's take a look at an example of a film with a tragic ending, in the movie Ballad of a Soldier. First, we are introduced to the boy, who then meets the girl. They slowly fall in love throughout the course of the film. Then, just before the ending, he loses her forever. The reason why this film just works so much better than The Circus is because it's more complex. We have two dual storylines in Ballad of a Soldier, Alusha trying to get home and Alusha falling in love. The first ending happens when Alusha loses Shura at the train station for good. This invokes a feeling of empathy from the audience, since we feel for Alusha's loss. The second ending occurs at the actual end of the film, where Alusha leaves his mother. Although the audience is happy at seeing the family united, we are reminded that this is the last time the mother will ever see her son since he dies in war, leaving us with a bittersweet taste as the credits roll. These two parallel storylines are held together by the most important element of a tragedy, the tragic hero. A tragic hero is defined by a man of existing fame or superiority who must participate in actions with actual consequences and is intrinsically good, but the demise is brought about by their own tragic flaw. Alusha is famous for taking out the two tanks, participates in war, and is just a good human being all around. But his goodness is his downfall since he feels that he must help everyone he encounters. This ultimately leads to him failing in the task of fixing the roof since his journey is slowed down by the people he helps. Sad endings allow for reflection after the film, giving off a sense of closeness, and even the audience connection of empathy to the character is linked to the release of oxytocin in our bodies, which is a chemical release when people socially bond. And above all else, they just stand to make more complex narratives than films with a happy ending.